panel is Donald Penn, Jacoby Ford, Lincoln Kennedy, Willie Gault, Jeff Barnes, and Roland Williams. So you have the right idea. You have the right idea.
Test 1, 2, 3.
All right. All right, if we can lower the music, I've got to make a couple of quick announcements. Everyone, welcome to our final panel session on the beautiful Norwegian Bliss. We thank you for your great turnout. We got an autograph session today, 2 of them in the Manhattan room. 12:30 will be the purple group, and 1:30 the orange group. And tonight's assignment for dinner are in the app, and the theme is tropical. So you got your last outfit, the big one, tropical, tonight. We're going to be talking about being a Raider. But as we begin, I'd like everybody, we've got a lot of thank yous for today. I'd like you to thank the Raiders staff who helped put this together back in Las Vegas.
Thank you so much.
So when I mention your name, if you can please stand up. Vicky, please stand up.
Hi, Vicky.
Kennedy.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Austin.
Awesome, thank you.
We're going to say thank you to Callie, but she left a couple of days ago. Lindsay is here.
Lindsay. Thank you, Lindsay.
Katie. Thank you, Katie. Sebastian.
Thank you, Katie.
Chanella.
Thank you.
And our photographer, what a great job they've done with video.
Thank you.
And Jeffrey, right here.
Let's go, Jeff.
Thank you. Jeffrey, my man.
And we have a lot more thank yous. I feel pretty big time up here after seeing Jersey Boys. Who saw Jersey Boys? What'd you think? Yeah, an icon and all those great shows. The entertainment was fantastic. All right, our first panel is being a Raider, gentlemen. And we're going to tie this into fan appreciation, which is really what today's about. Today, we're all going to give back to the fans who have given us such a tremendous welcome and experience on this trip. So I want to begin with you, Donald, and my first question is, the Raider Nation is like no other. Please share with us the impact that the fans have had on you. And before we all talk, some of you guys came from different teams. And then when you came to the team, maybe it took a while for the fans to kind of understand you. Others were drafted by this team. So Donald, I'll start with you, the impact on Raider Nation, and maybe you can share some stories about the fans.
Yeah, well, it was crazy because when I was signing, I was free agent and I was signing with the Raiders. It was between the Raiders and the Redskins back then. And I remember a lot of guys weren't signing with the Raiders during off season. Like, it was hard for us to get, big names and stuff like that. Because Marcel called me. He's like, bro, I need you. He's like, everybody's scared to come. We're about to turn this thing around. And I kind of believed in it. I really took a little bit less money to go to Oakland. And when I got there, it was great because we had a great group of guys come in, and then that next year draft, when they brought in Khalil Mack and Derek Carr, I thought that just changed everything. But when I did sign with the Raiders, being that a lot of free agents weren't coming here, the love I got from the fans was just great. Like, they kind of saw, I kind of felt like they saw the change coming. When I got in the building, it felt like everybody was tired of the same old Raiders, the same old stuff, and we were trying to change that. And in 2 years, we ended up changing that stuff around and clicked to the playoff spot.
Jeff Barnes, for you, the Cal guy, you had to know the fans growing up and knew what you were coming to with the Raiders.
Yes, let me tell you something, big guy. I love the fans. I was the Bay Area. We had Oakland when I was a little kid. We used to drive by the stadium and you could look through the fence and they would run up and down. They looked like high school players back in the day. So I said, I want to be one of those. And the next thing you know, I was drafted by the Raiders by John Madden. Let me tell you this quick story. I was drafted in the 5th round. I watched the draft 1, 2, 3, 4. So I went to my room, my apartment about the 5th round. So my roommate said, Jeff, you've been drafted by the Raiders. My roommate was a trickster, so I didn't believe a thing he said. The next thing you know, I got a call from the Raiders. They said, congratulations, you've been drafted by the Raiders. I hung up the phone. I said, this guy's good. This is a good trick. They called me again. They said, Jeff, don't hang up the phone. This is the Raiders. The only thing I could think of was I'm ecstatic to, be a part of the Raiders. So I got in my hoopty. I had my little hoopty in Berkeley. Berkeley and Oakland was like 15 minutes. I drove over to the facility. I went to the secretary. I said, Mr. Secretary, Jeff Barnes. She said, just a minute. I'm going to go upstairs and see Mr. Madden. She knocked on the door and said, Mr. Matt, Jeff Barnes. He said, yeah, I know. We just grabbed her. She said, no, he's downstairs in the lobby. I want to make sure they had the right Jeff Barnes. And let me tell you something else. Everybody know Ricky's. But we love Ricky's. I love his father, the sons. You know, that was a Raider hangout for all the guys. We had a good time in the Bay Area. The Raider fans go way back. Look, you would have to die to get season tickets in Oakland because you couldn't get them. That's all it was. So, you know, let me tell you another story. Let me tell you this. I was there from the whole situation with the Raiders. We went to the Cowboy Stadium, and it was a beautiful stadium. They took us on a tour. Al Davis said, this is a beautiful stadium. I want a stadium just like this in Oakland. We deserve to be first class. He went to City Hall. They said, no. Al said, you're not going to build my stadium? I'm going to go to L.A. We had packing trucks, moving trucks to put my car on a dolly. They was taking the car to L.A. The city of Oakland got an injunction, said, turn that truck around and come back to Oakland. Al was so mad. He said, you know what? I'm going to go back to Oakland, practice in Alameda, but we're going to play all our games in L.A. Every Friday, we got on a plane and flew to L.A., played on Sunday, came back, practiced the whole week. To this day, Howie and Marcus say that they never say they're Oakland Raiders, they're all LA Raiders because they never played a game in Oakland. So that's why I love the Raiders and the fans. Let me tell you something. This ship, one day I can see this whole ship being a Raiders, and we're gonna make the 49ers walk the plank.
Yeah, look at that.
We're gonna make them walk the plank.
Yeah.
And I can see that, look, we're gonna get all the Raider fans, because they say, no, I can't cut it off.
Yeah.
They say, but hold on 1 second.
I'm not stopping you.
Don't stop me. Don't stop me. I'm on the road. I'm on the road.
Clock is ticking.
Look, they say what's a pirate without a ship? I say, arr. Okay. Take it out, Penn. Take it over there. The youngsters, I love these youngsters, man. You see all these youngsters? I love these youngsters. You know, hey, I lost some money for them to get some money. Y'all know that. Man, they cut my paycheck. But look at them. They're all doing good. They're looking good. They're talking good. Look at them. I love them.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff Barnes. We're off to a rousing start. Willie, what was your impression before you came to the Raiders on the Raider fans, the Raider Nation, and how they were going to welcome you, and maybe a story about an interaction with fans early in your Raider career?
Well, the thing I was impressed with is that the fans were very educated about who I was. I came out, I was traded to the Raiders right before training camp, or right during training camp, so I actually had to go to Oxnard. And Jim Hill, who some of you may know is a CBS guy, Jim was a friend of mine. He called me and said, I heard you are going to sign with the Raiders. I said, well, I can't tell you that, but I'm on my way to Oxnard. So when I got there, the fans were there, and they were just really awesome. They knew who I was, and it really welcomed me. So,
Fantastic. We were excited to have you back then. Roland, what about you? Your first impression of the fans when you come over, and again, really quick, successful career, but now you got to impress the Raider Nation.
Yeah, I was first impressed with the Raider Nation playing with the Rams, because when we played the Raiders showed up bigger, stronger, better than the Rams did in that game. So I was really impressed. I got traded from the Rams when I came. For me, it was funny because I'm sort of crazy on the field, but off the field, I used to liken Magic Johnson and like to smile. I used to love how he used to smile while he cut him up. So I used to smile. And I got approached by a couple of members of the Raider Nation to say, hey, Ro, stop smiling so much in your interviews. We want you to be a little more rough and tough. And so I thought that was hilarious. I was like, just wait and see how I play. I think you're going to feel that I got the Raider energy in my spirit. So I had to learn that there's a balance, right?
A big-time balance. Jacoby, for you? And then Donald right after that. Yep.
So I came from Clemson, and real big fan base there. And so I was kind of, used to people knowing facts about me. But then when I got to the Raiders, kind of was like a little different. They became more like family, especially whenever you were leaving that Hilton. When you walk out that Hilton, I'll never forget, I just had people with, one guy had a tattoo of me. Yeah.
Wow.
One guy had a tattoo, would get a whole bunch of pictures. And then they would just start asking me random questions. Like one lady, she said, what's your favorite meal to eat before a game? I said, just honestly, just spaghetti and meatballs. That was it. just something simple. And she's like, well, what else do you like? I like candy. So all of a sudden, like me doing one interview, I'll never forget, I ran through the black hole and I'm running around and I just hear somebody say, Jacoby, I got some gummy bears and some gummy worms for you. And I heard that through my earphone. I said, so I ran back and grabbed those and I'm like, okay, so this is how it's gonna be. So every game, I made sure I ran through the black hole and I'd always get some gummy bears and gummies. Calm me down.
Donald, you want to say something?
Yeah, I forgot this on something earlier, but one thing about your Raider fans, y'all are crazy and I love it, but y'all had me a little scared when we practiced against Oxnard against the Cowboys. Because y'all showed up and showed out. And we had a fight, and fans were trying to fight some of the players too from the Cowboys. And it was crazy how much fans showed up to Oxnard. Like, they took over that whole practice. And I just love that. I had to speak on that because y'all had me a little scared there after. Like, I'm like, man, are they gonna rush the field? I didn't know there was enough security. It was tough up there.
Lincoln, you wanted to get out of Atlanta. You've made that clear. You come in and you have this stellar career with the Raiders. What was your first impression of the fans when they made you part of the family?
Well, it's for me, in my experience, it's a little bit longer than that because at first take, my take with the Raiders, not playing in Oakland, not knowing much about Oakland, even going up to Southern California, it was all brand new to me. I come from a place that was a very big college town, like Jacoby did, and a very good sports town in Seattle, playing at the University of Washington, had tremendous success. But now that I've been in the league for a couple of years, didn't see shit. Played for a team in Atlanta that realized their season was won or lost on how we could beat Carolina, how we could beat New Orleans, but we could never beat San Francisco. That sort of dire attitude really stared me clear, gave me a tainted taste on the NFL because I didn't know what guys ran it for. You see, I wasn't in it, I didn't play this game for the money. I played this game because it allowed me to get ahead. So when I went to Oakland, the very first thing I see out there in mini camps is I see Pops, Jim Otto. I see May rest in peace. I see Willie Brown. I see Fred Belenkoff. I see Al Davis. I see all of these legends watching practice. And we have all these legends on the roster. So I'm just like trying to get in where I can fit in. So JT knows this. My routine when I go to a game, on the way into the stadium, is I have a cigar. A lot of people didn't know that about me. I have a cigar. I get into my space, my head space when I'm doing things. That allows me to relax. When I was walking as a commentator, and this is long after I developed a relationship with the nation, when I was walking as a commentator through D-Line, everybody welcomed me with open arms. Everyone knew who the fuck I was. Excuse my language, sorry. But everyone knew who I was and welcomed me with open arms. I got so much food before I got into the damn stadium, I could barely walk on the sidelines. But it was deeper than that. It was deeper than that because in my travels around the league, I saw how the Raider Nation was compared to everybody else. And I knew at a very young age that, watching this Raider Nation, I said, we're special in our own way. You guys did wonders to get me fired up for a game. Violator can speak on this. How many times we saw each other play every game, right? My man. I came out and gave that man a pound, he gave me a pound, and he was more intense looking than I was. And I'm the one who's got to go and play. But that resonated through all of you. And what I respected and appreciated most was the fact that we might get called different names or out of our name because we dress, different than everyone else. But in that time, in those generations, since I joined the Raiders, JT, I've seen fan bases try to replicate and become what the nation is. And that's special. This fan base is special. Like I was talking the other night at dinner with some fans. I said, when it comes down to the Raiders, you either like us or you hate us. There's no in between. It's that polarizing of our organization. And you know what? I like that shit. Because I tell everybody all the time, I'm not a Raider fan. Well, I never asked you to be a Raider fan. And I don't want you to come just casually. So, I like that. I really do. I get a kick out of that. I like that. And that's this fan base. And that's what it means for me to wear this emblem all across my heart because not only do I represent them, I represent you, you represent me, we are a family through and through, and I will fight to the day I end to represent Raider pride. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, we do. Lincoln Kennedy. All right, gentlemen. This question's an important one because all of you gentlemen, if you have an answer to this, just get ready. If you don't, we can pass on it. But I want to know if there's an individual fan. Lincoln just mentioned Violator. It's a perfect segue for my next question. A fan, an individual fan, or a fan moment that had a big impact in your life. Maybe it could have been a sick child. Maybe it could have been someone after the game that always waited for you. Because I know a lot of you gentlemen are really tight with fans, but you're also really individually tight, Jeff, with a couple of fans who you treat like family. Give us a story.
Let me tell you this. I'm glad you came to me first. Gorilla Rilla. I love that guy. I never saw him without that suit for years. I met this little bitty cute little girl. I was signing autographs. She said, I'm dating a gorilla. I said, you dating the gorilla? Gorilla Rilla? I had never seen him without that uniform. They go on for years, they date, they get married. I'm in the wedding. In Fresno, 110 degrees, he's got a gorilla suit with a three-piece suit. At 110 degrees. She had a nice little coach with the horses and everything. I said, this is fantastic. Rod Martin and I were groomsmen in his wedding. So that's how far we go back with the Raiders. I love them. I love Gorilla Rilla. He's the man. I love all the fans. But let me tell you something. They dress up. When you're going out there in the game, and you might not win a game, and you come off, they say, Jeff, don't worry about it. You'll get them next week. That made me want to play harder the next week and try to win for my fans. That's why I love the Raider fans. And like I said, what's a pirate without a ship?
Lincoln, you've made friends with a lot of fans, Lincoln. I know a lot of fans as a broadcaster, as a player. You travel a lot and you interact with fans. Is there one or two that really had a big impact on your life?
I'm probably the closest with the Ybarra family, which is Raider, the Darth Raider, Charles Ybarra. Probably closest with him because I know Leonard, his brother, and their family in detail. But probably closest with them. But as I said, Violator, we go back, right? We go back some ways, man. We go back some days. I used to, man, I used to love seeing him. And his wife was just so innocent and sweet, just sitting there in her, but she had the same type of intensity, just in her own way. And it was such a great dynamic. You come out of the tunnel, I look over to the right, I'm having everybody yell, sign this, Lincoln Kennedy, give a glove. And my man was just sitting there intense. And so, it's probably that, but I'm close with everybody. Everybody who knows me knows that I try to extend that personalized, feeling because you all are special in your own way. And I respect that, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate the fact that you guys are as loyal to us and I'm hoping that all of us on the stage and everybody included is loyal to you.
Yeah, that's really interesting because of the travel. For 17 years, I traveled from Vegas to Oakland twice a week, and I made a lot of friends in Raider Nation just on those Southwest flights. We would line up, and there'd be 60 to 70 Raider fans on game day. Jacoby, do you have a fan or impact fan that had maybe said something, and all of a sudden a friendship was built?
I was very, very outgoing when I was with the Raiders. So I made a lot of local friends. I was able to go in a lot of places that some of the guys would be like, why are you going there? I'm like, I'm just going to hang over here in the hundreds or right up there off 98th Street, whatsoever. And I was in the streets. So no, but I probably say one story that I remember, and it actually got brought to my attention a couple years ago. It's actually after my first touchdown I scored. I ran to the dark side, jumped up in there, and my guests at dinner have heard this story already. Jumped up there, scored my first touchdown. I'm happy about it. Got a picture of it. It's a dude holding me, and there's another gentleman holding me as well. And I got a message probably about a couple years ago. The guy said that he sent me that picture, and he said, I really appreciate this picture because it was one of the last moments that my dad had before he passed away from cancer. And that was one of his wishes. Crazy to have somebody score, jump up over there. And just to be able to have that moment with them just shows just like the impact that I had without me even knowing, and just shows the true love for Raider Nation.
That's an amazing story. Thank you for that, for sharing that. Willie, do I have a feeling there's a little Hollywood connection on the set? Is there a couple of actors or actresses that you found out were Raider fans and a little bond?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Give me that.
Right. I love the fans, first of all, because I like talking to people or interacting with people. I had this one lady, I'll go back to actors. Her name was Linda. No, Jerry, not Linda Lovelace, but Linda. So she would send me a FedEx package every week, saying good luck, a card, and all that. So it was really, really cool. But I became pretty good friends with Billy Crystal, and of course, several other people, and he was a huge fan, of course, Dan Warwick. And we became friends, and to this day, still friends. Yeah.
Fantastic. Dionne Warwick.
Carl Weathers, of course.
Carl Weathers,
We just
absolutely.
passed away.
Yeah, we mentioned him a lot yesterday. How about for you, Ron?
For me, it was actually not one person, it was an organization, Raider Nation, Rochester, New York. I'm from Rochester. I went to Syracuse, again, Al Davies, alma mater, blah, blah. But when I came to the Raiders, I didn't realize that like the Raiders has like cells across America that's like alive and well and serious as a heart attack. So in Rochester, my hometown, it's like 45 people in Raider Nation, Rochester. They called me, they sent me letters, they gave me the whole rundown. They started coming to every game, bringing food, being lit, showing up for my youth camps. I was like, I can't believe how much love the Raiders have across the world. And Raider Nation Rochester from my hometown was a big part of that.
That is such a great point, because you can go home and there's a fan club, fan base right there, no matter where you are in the country.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what being a part of this family is all about, is being a part of these individual clubs that all come together. It's fantastic. Okay, here's a good one. Put your thinking caps on. Your funnest memory of the trip. I'm giving you a second. Look, don't slow. Jacoby. This trip. Okay, this trip. Okay, so whoever wants to go first, Willie, you want to go funnest memory
My
of this
funnest
trip?
moment was the race cars. I mean, I was going so fast, hitting people, I'm laughing, crying so hard. It was amazing. So just going around the track, the race cars were amazing. And then meeting all the fans, of course, and interacting. But the race cars for me, that was it. I think I went about 8 times. It was really cool.
The little boy in you, the race cars. All right, Donald. I was going to save you for last, but you want to go? Go ahead.
One of my good things, one of my best parts of this trip so far, I ain't gonna lie, is getting to know Grant a lot better, man. Grant's a great guy, man. He's
Great
hilarious.
guy.
And getting to know him better,
Love
hearing
him
his
some
story,
Grant.
getting
Alright.
closer with Jacoby and some of these OGs. That's been good hearing y'all's stories, and I'll talk to y'all. But I gotta say, our little Cabo trip was probably the best day. What
Yeah.
you think about that, JT? And
I made the cut on that one.
yeah,
That was
I think
special.
You did,
our
my
Cabo
boy.
trip was a great day. We had a nice little day there. Went to a day club, and then went to a restaurant. I think that was a good day. We didn't know it was college spring break when we showed up to the day party. we had to get out of there early. It was packed.
When I walked into that party with my wife, and there was 5,000 kids between the age of 19 and 21.
I was so
I
happy.
said,
to see
all
that.
right, we're gonna have to fight through this. Let's go have fun.
When JT texted me on the way, I said, "Hey JT, I'm just warning you. I didn't know it was college spring break." He said, "I'm still coming," but we had a good time.
We had a great time, and I went to the office and had a great lunch. Lincoln Lincoln brought his mom on the trip. How about that? It was a pleasure to meet your mom. What's your fondest memory so far, Lincoln?
My first love. And I don't mean to sound sappy in this, but my greatest memory of this past week was seeing my mom smile when she got on the boat. She was happy. You know, her and I, we obviously have history, but we haven't had a vacation, just the two of us. There's always been everyone else around, family around, and so being pulled, the person I am, being pulled in many different directions. But to be able to be focused on her, and only her, made her feel good. And so that's my greatest memory of this trip so far.
That's wonderful. Fantastic. To break down, I'd like to say a few words. My favorite memory on the trip is everything. This is fantastic. You know, you got the guys here, you got the wives, and we had the party out back. It was a little cold, but it was fantastic. Then we went and had the party by the pool. Man, that was off the hook. All the fans and the players in the water, you just couldn't beat it with a stick. It was fantastic. Everything's been wonderful. We got to keep this up. Like I said earlier, I would like this whole ship to be Raider fans one day. If you would just spread the word, tell another fan and another fan, one day that dream will come true.
JB, real quick before we can move on.
Yes, sir.
Killer, can we get a smile out of you, man?
Yeah,
Look at all Look like he just stole his candy. Man, smile, man. What's happening? Some more. Look.
That's the way Killer look all the time. That's Killer. You don't call him Killer for nothing. He look like he gonna kill somebody. That's Killer. Thank you.
He's got one more performance tonight. He's got one more singing performance tonight. We all don't want to miss it. Ro, what about you? Fondest memory?
I have to say my fondest memory has been the dinners. Spending a quality time and really getting to know people, who they are, besides being just fans of the Raiders. I think it's been great. It's been real, it's been honest, you know? And so I enjoy telling my story. So I would definitely say the dinners have been great.
Awesome. All right, last one as we're going to open it up to some questions. I'm going to put you all on the clock for about a minute or 90 seconds here. This team is about to enter the draft. Just came off free agency. I'm going to start with you, Jacoby. Give me something that you need to see changed with this roster under Pete Carroll. That opening day, opening night, wherever the Raiders open up, you want to see blank happen.
It's crazy you asked me first, because I literally had a dream that I was talking with Hunter Renfrow last night. Yeah. He was right there by the front of the boat getting ice cream. I was like, I looked back, I said, Hunter, I'm proud of you for getting back in. I did see him in Clemson a couple weeks ago, and he said he was gonna start working out. But I think we need to go get the guys that we want, the guys that we need. But I mean, and then just get the guys that fit the Raider way and what it means to be a Raider. And I think if we do that and just kind of trust what Pete, because I know Pete's gonna have his hands in every pick. I know Tom and all those other guys are going to do exactly what they need to make sure we get this thing going in the right way. Because, like I said, the way I see it, it can only go up from here. I don't see it being anything that Pete can't do. And I'm a big firm believer in him. I just love everything that he brings to it and the energy that he just has. And honestly, the fans have already been excited to have him. So, and even Seattle fans are actually a little jealous that we have him. So that's how I know we did something right.
Nicely said. Willie, what's one thing that's got to change on opening game day?
I just think everybody playing together, you know, and not making mistakes. Mistakes will kill you. You know, penalties. If you are 1st and 10 and you get a penalty and you're 1st and 20, so penalties is the main thing. Discipline. You got to be disciplined in this game, you know, because it's 11 guys working as one, and if one guy makes a mistake, it just hurts the whole team. So for me, I just think it's cutting down the penalties.
Donald Penn?
I think we got to have a great draft. I think our O-line needs to get a lot tougher and nastier. We need to stick up for our guys a lot more. And one thing I would love to see during the season that I think will help us all out is just positive improvements all throughout the season. Consistently positive improvements from this team going forward, and then I think that would be great.
Nice. Jeff Barnes, what do you got to see opening night?
I'm so proud of the Raiders for getting Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll is a player's coach. He knows how to deal with the players, and hopefully he'll get the right guys in there and we'll win some games. I'm hoping that we can win at least 10 games. We're doing positive things, and I'm just looking at the Raiders moving forward because, you know, I know Henry and I are tired of being the ones with the only Super Bowl on the team. I want everybody to get a ring. But let me tell you something. You'll get a ring, and you'll get a ring. Everybody get a ring. I want you to experience that feeling of getting a ring. So I want to bring a championship to Vegas because they deserve it. And let me tell you something else. Mrs. Davis. Everybody forget about Mrs. Davis. Mrs. Davis was with her husband when he wanted that stadium. Don't forget about her. She make a lot of decisions. She's a little older, but she make a lot of decisions. Her and Mark sit down and they put it together, and what they're trying to do is get a winning team for Vegas. So I love her. She's the monarch of the team. And let me tell you something else. She was on her deathbed. She was so sick. Big Al said, I want the best doctor money can buy, and she outlived him. So you got to look at that too. So Mrs. Davis is in the background, and hopefully we're going to turn it around for our fans.
Nicely said. Carol Davis. This is Davis. Roland, what's got to change so the Raiders get on a quick winning streak right out of the gate?
I would say two things. One, we have to make this offense curated for the quarterback. We know who he is and who he isn't. It's important that we focus on the intermediate passing game and complement him with play action pass, which leads me to number two. We have the best tight end in the NFL. And this is throwback to remember when the Chiefs had Tony Gonzalez and they were unapologetically tight end. I think that's who we are. I hope in this first game that we establish that's who we are. We're going to our tight end as the first option, a la Witten, Gonzalez. I think we're next up. I think that's key for us to succeed this year.
And finally, the great Lincoln Kennedy, who gets paid to be an analyst. Lincoln, what do you got to see come out of camp?
I got to see how this offensive line plays together. We made some adjustments in free agency. Most importantly, on offense, we need to get an X receiver. And for those out there that want to talk about an X receiver, I'm talking about a main go-to guy. I had the chance to play with some great ones. Obviously, Timmy Brown and Jerry Rice and those guys. But you need a receiver who's going to get those harder routes and be able to win those battles, especially when you have one-on-one matchups. We don't have that yet. We have everything else, but we don't have that. And the fact is, we got to have an offensive line to protect. I don't care who the quarterback is. If you're sitting looking up from the floor, looking up the ceiling, you're getting your ass whooped. It's not going to work. So, offensive line and X receiver are the two big primary needs I think that we can address in this draft.
Thank you, Lincoln. Time for questions for the panel. Got a few minutes. I see a hand in the back, so raise your hands. We'll get a microphone to you before our second panel.
Good morning, guys.
Hi.
This is for DP. I got a question for you. For yesterday, you said that you never started stuff, you always finished it. And when you were playing, who was the one guy that you went up against that just pissed you off and you just were just a little bit more aggressive?
Well, it depends. If anybody started talking trash, then that would piss me off. But you know who I used to love and hate playing was Tom Ali from Kansas City. Because that motherfucker didn't practice all week. And then come out there Sunday fresh as hell. Coming. Me and him had some good battles. But with the Raiders, I probably have to say Tamba. And I love playing against like Melvin and Bond too. Because I used to see Bond like the offseason, so I always have to go good against him so I can have my bragging rights and stuff when I saw him. But yeah, Tom Ali, he's get on my nerves sometimes.
Okay, who do we have next? Some hands raised? Kind of a quiet group today.
Everybody's asleep. Shit.
Let's go. We're the ones who hustled here. Let's try to get one or two more. There we
Day
go.
6 of this cruise. I see you, JR. I see you.
Right there.
Jerry.
This one's probably for all you guys. We're from Colorado. We hate the Broncos like we should. Like we hate the Broncos like we should.
Bronco.
And I'm just wondering, exclude the Chiefs. What other team did you really hate? Just really like, you know, like I'm from New York.
All of them.
The Jets. Hate the Jets. Who else was it?
I would say an outlier team that I really hated. Well, no, the 49ers. I would say we hated them because when you live in the Bay, you're sharing too many things. Similar restaurants, similar clubs, similar people you might date. I don't know. It's a lot of competition. Didn't like them. It was real. We didn't like them 365 days of the year. See them at Walmart. Didn't like them. See them in the mall. Didn't like them. I think the 49ers was the realest, consistent disdain, right? All throughout the year for sure.
Agreed. Donald?
I don't like the Chiefs. I hate the Chiefs. You know my damn nerves. I'm tired of watching them win. You know my damn nerves.
And yeah, the Broncos, and don't forget the San Diego Chargers, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Man, wherever we went, we had to have bodyguards. We had to have a guard at the door to keep the fans from coming up trying to hurt somebody. They couldn't stand us and we couldn't stand them. So it goes way back to the days with Jack Tatum. Oh my God, you know, Skip Thomas. John Matusak. Let me tell you something. I want to tell you about John Matusak. John Matusak and Max Crosby is a reincarnation of John Matusak. But John Matusak didn't have a wife that stopped him from going crazy. But John Matusak, we didn't call Tuesday, it wasn't just Tuesday, it was Tuesday. And I miss him so. But look, let me tell you something, all of them, whenever we played them, man, we had to have bodyguards at our doors at our hotels because they wanted to get the Raiders.
Nicely done. We got time for one more. One more, raise your hand. Maybe down here to this lady, right there.
So she had a good question, but she don't want to ask. She wants to know what you guys miss most now that you're not playing.
Money. Let me tell you something. I went through 3 strikes with the Raiders. They cut my check a whole bunch of times. But look, they're all looking good. Don't they look good? That's what's cutting my money. But look, I'm going to go back out there. I'm going to go down and see Pete Carroll and say, Pete, put me in for one play, get a check, and get the hell out of there.
I miss the locker room, being around the guys. I miss that, joking around, having that laid back feeling, knowing you always had somebody at your back. You always could do something with your boys. You could depend on them. I kind of miss that locker room vibe. There's nothing like that when you get back to the locker room. You joking around with your guys, bagging on each other and stuff like that. You know, seeing who's sensitive and all that stuff. So I miss stuff like that.
And hey, don't they have like video games in the locker room now? They play the Madden games in the locker room?
They got TVs too.
They got TV. Let me tell you something. We had a cement floor with a washer and dryer in Oakland, and if you slipped and fall, they said that's too bad.
Let's hear it for our panel, everyone. All right, gentlemen, you get a chance to stretch your legs for a second. Come on down for a minute, and then you're going to be up here in a few minutes. So leave your microphones there, stretch your legs down there for a little bit, and we'll bring you back up.